recording. Roll intro 15 seconds.
Hey again there folks, Alex Newman here. More exclusive behind the scenes content from the Red Pill Expo. With us right now we have the one and only John B. Wells. I jokingly said his lower third should say best radio voice known to man. He is of course with Caravan to Midnight, and he's also the MC here at the Red Pill Expo. He also happens to be one of my favorite commentators in the world about what's going on. I mean, he just understands it like nobody else does. John, thanks so much for being here.
Well, thank you so much for those kind compliments. I really appreciate it.
It's all the truth, John.
I'm following you though because I really like your work, and of course, always a pleasure to have you on Caravan.
Hey, it's always a pleasure to be on there. It's such a great show. So, John, we've only got a short time because you got to get back out on stage and introduce the next person. But what are some of the problems that we're dealing with? I mean, I know there's so many of them. But what are the key ones that right now you think are like an existential threat to our nation, our freedom, our families, our churches?
Believe it or not, I believe it's the mainstream media. This mainstream media needs to be roped in because they are absolutely running wild with just whatever story they want. And they slander whomever they wish. They put out whatever propaganda they're told to, and they do it with complete impunity. So that is critical, because if you're giving people wrong information, then of course their reaction to it is going to be based in what? In falsehood, and any action that they're going to take. There's the reaction first, and then there's the action. It's a mess because the mainstream media is the communications hub of the country, and if it weren't for outfits like yours, outfits like Caravan and others, and this is a fairly recent advent. I mean, well, 10 years worth, but it seemed like it went by a lot quicker than that. But as I spoke those words, I realized, no, the alternative media has been coming on beginning about 10 years ago, and in some cases earlier, but some move off the main sequence, some come back on, and some newcomers come in, so people are interested, which suggests to me that if enough pressure is put on these, the powers that be, to use that time-worn phrase, they'll get desperate. And it's liable to be more than just a knee-jerk reaction in an effort to stop a full revelation of everything that's been going on behind our sleeping and otherwise trusting backs. Their response to this to try and get ahead of it and save their agenda, which of course is global domination. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
That's what got me thrown off of the overnight radio program, Coast to Coast AM, was I mentioned on 3 occasions you're witnessing the resurgence of global communism, and South Africa is the model, is the test bed. Just watch, you'll see. And it turned out to be true. How I wanted to be wrong, Alex, but I mean, I really wanted to be wrong. It's like, oh, well, it's just a theory, but.
Oh, I wish we were all wrong about all of it, and everybody could go home and sleep in peace tonight. But so, John, how much credibility do you think the media still has? You know, right now everybody's up in arms about the fraud of the China, right? They say, oh, nobody can talk about this virus coming out of China. Now suddenly, oops, we were wrong. It might have actually come from China. And you look at the polling data, and Americans overwhelmingly say they don't believe the media, and yet the media tells us we all need to put face diapers on our face, and you get 80, 90% compliance in some areas. Do people still believe the media? Do they just say they don't, and they actually do? What do you think?
That's a really, really good question, and I think it requires a legitimate answer rather than just a response. I think far too many people still trust them, but I do believe that these are unfortunately low IQ people, and we can't do anything about people's IQ except encourage them to eat properly and maybe raise it a few numbers. But the human being is made to be led, and depending on which human being you're talking about, that'll pretty much determine what they're going to allow to lead them. So I think probably the overall network, ABC, NBC, CBS, even Fox now, because Tucker Carlson is one of my favorites. He really is, of that whole bunch. I mean, I like some of those people, they're all right, but you can tell the restraint that they're having to apply when it comes to certain subjects, which means if they keep going, they're going to get fired.
Yeah.
So I would say realistically 45% trust mainstream media, the others do not, but they accept it as some kind of an established and somewhat necessary evil there's this perception that if they'll just keep some sort of information rolling down the information tube, then somehow this constitutes legitimacy or relevancy in some way. But the problem is that it's rubbish.
Yeah.
And this thing with, I don't mind going out on the clothesline on this one at all, because this deal with the Wuhan virus, we know that Gates and Fauci were involved. We know Fauci's lied repeatedly. We know Gates is a freak. We know he comes from, it's in his blood. He's a eugenicist, just like his father. We've seen the CIA briefing about knocking the population of the world down 10, 15% if we do a really great job with new vaccines and all
Billy
of this
Gates.
stuff. And you're seeing all of these reactions to people who have taken the vaccine. That's bad enough, but now you're seeing reactions in people who just touch people who have had the vaccine who are unvaccinated. And so my view is that the mainstream media has no credibility whatsoever because they're instructed what to say. And I was the voice of Channel 8 Television, the ABC affiliate WFAA in Dallas for 25 years. So as the voice guy, I got to go everywhere. And my introduction to how duplicitous the media is, of course we know this, but it's one thing to know it, and there's another thing to witness it, then you really know it. Or like the Russians say, when it happens to you, then you know it's true, right? But it was that whole thing at Waco. How'd you guys get that close? How'd you get the camera up that high? Why does it say live, but I see edits there? So I went into a room, all the directors and everybody's there, and a bunch of guys in suits that did not work at the station.
Oh, man.
And I asked, I said, what's the deal? How'd you get in that close? How'd you get at that angle? Why does it say live? It's a satellite. You couldn't get the satellite truck that close. Gunfire all over the place, so how'd you do it? And why are those edits there? You know what they said? Not a thing.
Oh, man.
Dead silence.
Oh, wow. So John, what do we do about this? I agree with you 100%. The fake media has just manipulated. Even the people who know it's a fraud, they still get led around like a dog on a leash. You know, the media decides what things people focus on, what the debates are about. They kind of frame all of it. What's the solution to this, if there is one?
Cut their money off.
How do we do that?
Stop buying their products. Stop buying their products. Stop buying the products. Contact the sponsors of these networks, and contact the sponsors of these products through their public relations department and their marketing departments, and tell them we are organizing a boycott against your product for what you did. In the case of Coca-Cola, really, in South Africa, they've got a can that actually says, "Try not to be so white." And yet, if you want a real Coca-Cola, you have to buy it from Mexico. It has to be HON with real sugar, because the American version gets what?
High fructose corn syrup.
Absolutely. So why do we
Nasty.
get that? And then you look out there and you see all these people who are they're not in good shape. They're either workout freaks or they're in bad shape or drifting that direction.
Yeah.
We have to take charge of our lives, our minds, our bodies. Forget about what these people say. Comply to what is legal and what is mandated by law, not by fiat either. And that would be Fauci and his crew of losers. And we need to just don't comply. I'll be very quick here. I saw a little, it's an interesting little quirky spy thing, but there was a Muslim woman there, and she went to a hotel. You can't see anything but her eyes, but this was quite poignant because she's in not Liechtenstein, what's the other one?
Monaco?
No, the banking center.
Jersey?
No. They speak French. I can't believe I'm going through this right this moment. Brain freeze, anyway. She wanted to go down to the canal and just put her feet in the water. And she had to look around so that no Muslim man saw her bare feet, because a Muslim man could be aroused by this. Of course, if she showed her feet, that's her fault, so she gets beaten. Now, this is what we're drifting into at an extreme, that sort of thing. And with South Africa, what's happening here has gone play by play, number by number, what happened to them. And the same people are responsible. The British government would push communism into China, Russia, India, South Africa, Brazil. They pushed it into Canada, and now they're trying to push it into the United States. It's not the English, it's the British government. And that's kind of where I come up on this. And the media supports it because the dollars talk. Nobody's going to give up their job to make a statement because they know they'll be forgotten unless they do what you do and do what I do and do what others are doing. You have to just make your own job if you're going to be in news and media. You just have to do this or they won't hire you.
Yeah.
If you think for yourself, they simply will not hire you.
It's an unforgivable sin. No thinking. It's so interesting. You just mentioned South Africa. Just literally yesterday, somebody from South Africa sent me a news article about Black Lives Matter activists in the United States calling for confiscating land from wealthy white people so that they could redistribute it. Same exact narrative that we've heard in South Africa. John, thank you so much for being with us. I know you got to get back out on stage. We so appreciate you and your show. Tell us real quick, why should people be at the Red Pill Expo next year?
Just correction, Luxembourg is what I was looking
Oh,
for.
okay, Luxembourg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Luxembourg. The Red Pill Expo, there, every one of them, this is the 6th one, and the speakers are amazing. The information is not to be received except here and there on the net, or if you know who to go and listen to. And so it's a wonderful gathering of people who are in agreement that not just the simplistic-ish, we know something is wrong, yes we do, but we also know now what we might be able to do about it. And it starts with independent thinking based on fact instead of the fables that are fed to us every night over the television.
Yeah. Well, John, thank you so much for what you do. Folks, we're behind the scenes live at the Red Pill Expo. Share this link out, get the information out. You know the fake media hates us just as much as they hate you, so we depend on you guys to get the information out. Thanks for watching. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.